Hello, welcome to the live chat. Looks like a few people are starting to stream in here, or at least one. So I'll start talking for a little bit here. Hold on just a minute. I just left something. But, yeah, key piece of the mission. Hold on just a moment. Well, we'll give it a few minutes for these updates and, not updates, excuse me, notifications to go out here. We're going to do a little bit of editing tonight, late night. We'll see how things go here. If it turns out to be a boring stream, I'll let you all go and we'll call it a night, but I thought it might be kind of fun. It's not really even 539 related, so let me know what the audio is sounding like. As always, I usually have it hanging here, but I don't really know. This camera angle probably needs to change as well. But thank you all for joining me. Been a long time since we've done a live stream here. And yeah, if you enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I probably will try to turn the camera around, show you all kind of what I'm working on here in a little bit, but we'll just kind of do some maybe generalized updates here for a little bit and let y'all know what's going on in the 539 back end. Hey there, Brenda. Welcome to the live stream. Oh yeah, I need to turn my... Okay, I don't think I can... Okay, wait, here we go. I need to turn live chat on. I always end up turning top chat on by accident. Thank you, Brenda. Wonderful to see you as well. Hey there, Ja. It has been a while. Yeah, I've just been working on tons of stuff in the background, trying to get things ready for all the new stuff. Like I said, the summer was not really a good time to start anything like the live streams or Twitch or any of the new ventures, really. And now that winter's here, or fall's here, I guess, until the 21st. Hey there, Shauna. We will be venturing into some of the new stuff. So, just getting prepared for that, getting a hopefully backlog of 539 episodes ready for y'all to go. That way there's no gaps or anything in episodes. So, but yeah, we've been doing pretty well on keeping the 539 episodes up to date. Some of them have been a little bit late at night, as the last few have, but so far for the last... I don't even know, 3, 4, 5 months, something like that. It's been pretty steady, no breaks, and so it's been kind of nice. So we're gonna try and keep that going, and then be by the new year all 8 a.m. episodes, and yeah. But I'm hoping to do some sort of, like I said, podcast about 3 times a week. Probably hear from the 539 studios here, the command center, and we'll be doing a little bit more of a structured podcast that we've been talking about in the past. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, I've been really trying. It's been rough going with all the other projects that I've been trying to work on. But yeah, we're getting there. We're almost there. But like I said, by the new year, we should be completely good to go with everything, I think. Yeah, and then we're going to give it a good go to build something over on Twitch and maybe a few other areas, a few other places, and see how it goes. We'll see. But to kind of remind everybody, some of the stuff we'll probably be doing in the podcast is some call-in type stuff where people can call in, tell stories about different things, probably alternative culture related, tattoos, music, more culture related type things surrounding the, you know, sort of modern rock and music culture and other sort of underground cultures that are very underground and yet pretty pervasive in society and play a pretty big role in building what I see to be not only American culture and society but the world as well. So we'll be diving into some of those topics and maybe even opening a few other, probably starting a few other shows or live streams. Maybe, like I said, some road streams. Trying to get a nice, good or nice setup where I can stream way out in the middle of nowhere without having to worry about it cutting out or just cutting out because we went in a slight valley. Yeah, I think we're not too far away from all of this, and yeah. But I'll be keeping you all updated on that. But tonight was just kind of for fun, and so I don't get super bored just sitting here editing. It's some pretty tedious stuff. Hey there, Darla. Good to see ya. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for hopping in. Have a great night. Yeah, this was sort of an unplanned thing. Not really sure what I'm even gonna talk about while I do this. I don't know how I'm gonna set this camera up either. Um, okay, I think I'm gonna have to do a switch on the mouse and the... Whoa, that was almost disastrous. There has to be an angle where this works. There we go. Okay, this is gonna work for just a minute and then I'm gonna have to change it again. No worries, thanks again, Darla. Have a good night. Plants are doing pretty well. I have a few new ones here and there. It's not really lit up very well in here right now, and I don't have quite a good setup. Actually, I thought that was gonna work better like that. I do have one new one right here, little fern that I picked up the other day with a little pot, but I need to drill a... Whoa, that was really loud. I need to drill a hole in it so it has some drainage, but I don't know if there's anything new. I do have another ZZ plant, but it is the Raven, and so it's really dark, and so it's not probably going to show up very well. And then somewhere up here, I have a new snake plant. Which is the Medusa. Because it looks like little snakes popping up. I don't know if I have any of the other ones within... Yeah, I'm not sure. I got a new, there's another one that probably won't show up very well. I got a new Syngonium mojito. And what else have I gotten? I don't even know. I've gotten a few different ferns. I got another bunny, a black bunny ear fern, or rabbit's foot fern, excuse me. and then another fern, which I can't remember the name of now. It's like another Greekish type name. I can't remember. Hey there, Faye. Welcome. Good to have you. I don't know if this angle is going to be very good if I try to actually show anybody anything. I might just have to take screenshots while I do this. Because if I turn... Okay. How is this supposed to work? I need to get more tripods, I think. I need to get my old setup up, I think, is what the actual answer is. Because if I had my old setup, I actually could just share my desktop and show you all what I was doing live. I could probably do a little bit of it live. But I could show you some. Let's see if I can pull up some screenshots. Hey there, Kim. Yeah, weather is very cold. Oh, what in the world? Oh. There we go. Let's see if I can organize this in a way where it makes sense. This is getting way harder than I thought. Let's just make a random folder here. And then everything is popping up. Okay. We'll put those folders. Images. What is it not doing? So I don't know if I can show the whole thing, but I can show part of it. I've been working on a letter, which was folded in 3, and so I scanned it, and I'm trying to remove the crease from the letter, and I just need to see that I'm not showing anything revealing. Not that kind of revealing. Okay. Is it really only 2? Okay. No. What is going on here? Okay, I'm gonna have to take another screenshot from Photoshop for this to even work. This is getting ridiculous. Yeah, I've heard that we're supposed to have like some like blizzards and stuff. Did we get somebody? Hey there, Linda. Did I say hi to Linda? I don't know if I said hi yet. Sorry. I'm trying to get these screenshots sorted so I can actually show something without How is it? Okay, there. What is it? Oh, this is going to... There we go. Nope. Okay, so that should work. So this is just so far what I've been done. Oh yeah, yeah. Australia's completely flipped. You guys are going into summer, so let's see if it'll. So this is what I'm working on. You can kind of see in the original scan here that there's a big crease in the center from where it came in an envelope, and that's the first crease. And so if we scroll down, sorry about the sound. So there so far is the fixed line, and that's all Photoshop. None of that is physical. I didn't do any ironing or steaming or anything like that. And then here again is some artwork that was done on the edge of this letter. And again, you can see a giant crease going down the center here. And so that is, again, some Photoshop that I've done so far to edit that out. So, again, and that's done with colored pencil, so there's really no way to, like, iron or steam it or anything like that, really, so... And then I'm going to go over, because there's some smudging with the pencil, there's some obvious, more areas, or some areas that are more obvious than the others, so I'm going to go back over with a larger correction tool, and then I'm going to probably add some sort of slight Gaussian blur over the top of it, which will kind of hide a few things while sharpening up some of the writing in here. This is none of my work. This is just, I mean, the Photoshop is all my work, but the image itself is not. And this is my Photoshop file here that I have open. I wonder if I can. Kind of a simple. Let's see if I have a. There's another one I've been working on. Let's see. Just a photo of somebody doing some meditation. And, oh yeah, I was gonna see if I can save these real quick. Hold on. This is a... Thank you all. Appreciate it. I don't know if anybody's seen the recent... Hold on. The recent episode. I'll see if I can pull that up. You'll see some of the recent ones I've been working on. And So yeah, this is a kind of a typical, tons of different layers that do different things. Some to make the door look a little bit better from how it appeared in the photo to more what it looked in real life. And then we have our, oh, now we just have a door, a magic door in the middle of nowhere. And then our nice, lovely background. So if we wanted to go in there and make a new layer that we could call, what would we call that? And then we could say we wanted to do just a flat, straight background. And then we could do something like that, or we could go in and make it look like a rave all of a sudden. Yeah, some Photoshop basics for everyone. But I personally think this kind of cool tropical looking gradient was kind of nice, even though it doesn't really match the season or maybe even the subject matter very well, but I kind of liked it. I don't know. You can let me know what you think, but you can kind of get an idea looking at the level of detail that goes into making all this work from like the original. There's the original that I started working with there. Just took a screenshot from our episode, one that I liked, and then cut it out, edited the oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted here for a second. But yeah, we edited the colors on that, and then made it in the proper format so that it's facing towards the screen as best as possible. And yeah. And then voila, I finished, ready to go. Like 30 layer. Thumbnail. Where's our other one? Let's see. Will it? I don't even know what it's going to load because half of these aren't even in the same place anymore. Is there one? Yeah, screenshot that I enhanced a little bit and then added some. Obviously, these used to be more than one layer here until I combined them together. Sometimes it's just easier to make into one, and that way you can kind of, not bad, but you can kind of move it around. So, there you go. Intro to Photoshop 101. Okay, sorry about that. I lost my microphone and I'm about to lose my mouse. So yeah, I don't know if that's interesting to anybody, but Night Kim, hope I didn't miss you. I don't know. Hey there, Beaker. Welcome. Good to have you. Sorry if I've missed any comments here. I've been trying to get some of this done, but I don't know what I need to do now. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to. Yeah, that's part of what I do. Some are more complex than the others, but I've moved a bunch of them recently, so it's not wanting me reopen some of the previous files. Um, whoa, I got dark really quick, didn't I? Using photos to once again light my face. So yeah, I should mention that the kind of not really top 10, but this 2022 countdown episodes are not going to be the only thing that we see. I am going to be going out and filming during this period as well. So it's just going to be kind of sprinkled in here and there. I just figured it'd be kind of fun to go over some of the places that we've been to in over this year, and so I've made a couple episodes like that, and I'll probably do a couple of the cool finds or interesting or strange things that we found as well. There's been quite a few, probably more than of that than we have of the mausoleums. I didn't realize how few mausoleums that we actually visited in 2022. I guess it's ever since 2020, it's been kind of all the years have been kind of running together. So I was kind of mixing up 2021 and 2022 and thinking that we had been to more mausoleums. So I'll probably try and hit up a bunch more of those over the next few weeks here, and maybe even make a few. I'm hoping to make a few phone calls and get into some of these places that were locked that I was wanting to get tours of before. Yeah, it seems like every time that I've done the comp type episodes, that it seems that people enjoy them. So, um, I figure as long as they do well and as long as people want to watch them, then I'm willing to make them. But I definitely don't want them to get overwhelming and seem like it's the only content that's occurring, especially if some of them are only a few months old that we've went to, like Lindenwood. But like I said, I do enjoy making them, and it's a interesting break from regular content. So we'll go ahead and make a few. It'll probably be about 4 episodes, another Mausoleum episode, and then a couple cool and interesting strange finds episodes, and then yeah, by that time, with everything else mixed in, we should be into the new year and then heading out to some more interesting places. So I'm just gonna try this year or this next upcoming year to kind of target some of the more interesting places, even if it's just heading out to some place for like one day and hitting a really crazy, different, interesting in some way, either historical or the condition or location, something significant, um, uh, and hopefully filled with more mausoleums. Yeah, it's been a crazy few years. I think it's kind of messed with everybody's sense of time a little bit. Uh, so, this is going to be interesting. So, having to figure out, I need to take a photo, a large photo. I need to cut it up into a bunch of small photos. So I need to figure out what a good pixel ratio would be where I can cut it up without losing too much or anything at all. So I'm thinking maybe like 3,000 by 3,000. Maybe 3,000 by 4,000. 4,000 by 3,000. All right. That seems pretty good. Maybe. I feel like I don't know if this is the proper aspect ratio for my photo. Not quite, but probably shouldn't matter. Okay, let me know at what point this gets boring, or if there's anything specific that you had any questions about either. Whoa. Yeah, I think I have enough resolution. 300% zoom is not workable. There we go. Because I just don't feel like I'm going to be able to switch around. I should have planned better with these angles if I was going to do this. I should not have done this like this. I'm totally killing this entire thing. Don't save. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, I'm going to be trying to concentrate on just the more interesting things, the things that people really want to watch, which seems to be the mausoleums, and for the most part, that seems to be probably the most popular. And then from there, I guess probably the places that are either being renovated or are in poor condition. And a couple of the places I have been kind of doing that recently, and online some of the information's old, so when I'm doing research, sometimes I end up showing up at places that look like they're completely trashed, and then it ends up being that they're in the middle of a restoration. So it's kind of interesting to actually finally show up at a location and see the difference in what it looks like in research and what it looks like in real life. Okay, where in the world? But yeah, if you all have any requests or anything like that, or locations that you want to see, any areas that I should go to, or any, again, anybody out there with a nice hidden 1800s graveyard or cemetery in your old farmland somewhere, that would be an interesting one to come out and check out. Yeah, it's crazy to me as popular some of these videos have gotten, that I think sometimes it's just that people don't want to end up getting their location destroyed when people are ultimately able to figure out where it is, and then, you know, a lot of other people come and visit. Yeah, I need to get back to Cave Hill. I would like to get back somewhere. I've been trying to plan a trip out sometime by the end of the year, because I have points for a free hotel stay, and I haven't used them yet, and I think they might expire at the end of the year. So I didn't want to lose those, and I kind of wanted to go somewhere interesting where I could film at least a little. Whoa, what in the world? Film a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. This is a mistake. Okay. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to get back to film, is that Mausoleum. And obviously there's so much more there that I could just film anyway. But oh, damn it. I hate that Photoshop does not have the ability, once you've started something, to change the pixel feather. It's like once I've... So if you want to select something in an image, you can select it without it being like a hard line. It'll like fade it out at the edges. So you can like cut somebody's like face out and put it on something else. But like once you've selected what you want in the photo, the level of the fade cannot be adjusted. You can adjust the number, but it won't change until the next time that you cancel out your entire selection and then reselect everything, which is a matter of points. Sorry. I have like the phone screen in like front of my face here, and then I'm trying to do this like hyper focused job, and my eyes like blurred out for a second. I couldn't barely see what I was doing. Again, I hope this isn't incredibly boring. There we go, let's see. And boom. Bam. Not even better, we can just... And then I can cut something else out and use that. Although that I probably won't use, because that looks like trash. If we go to like... you can see it's a little bit blocky for my likes. So we'll probably go and do like a 1 pixel fade instead of a half pixel fade, because it's a little bit too high quality to use a half pixel. Otherwise you can see the lines just ever so slightly and it's not very smooth. It'd probably be okay. But I don't like it. So I'm going to delete it. Yeah, I feel like a lot of places are decorated. Like, I remember when we went to Michigan and saw the Pyramid Mausoleum. It had Christmas wreaths and things like that in it. Alright, get rid of that. Okay. I might have to take a break and start this up some other time. Yeah, I'd like to get back there and see if maybe they've cleaned off some of the windows. I think that was the one that the only thing preventing uh, an interior view was the frost on the windows. The fake spray on frost, not frost. But yeah. And they had a few different mausoleums there too. Actually, I think it was like, let's see, they had the pyramid, and then they had the. I had to look it up because I thought it was something bad, and it wasn't. It was the Grand something. It was the Mausoleum of the Grand. I can't remember what it was. Some fraternal order, and it was like the leader of the fraternal order. And oh no, that's something else. There's another one I want to visit that's really interesting. It's I don't know exactly what it is. I guess it's some sort of leader of like maybe like a historic. I don't know if it was a cult or what. I love the Oddfellows stuff. I would love to get an interior view of that one that I was just at. The Oddfellows in southern Fort Wayne. We've been to a few different Oddfellows cemeteries. I think 3 or 4 now. One I think I erased because the algorithm decided to do its dirty magic with it and give it like 700 views or whatever. So I erased that. But I might re-upload it at some point. I'm not sure where it is, so I need to find it. But I thought it was a really interesting episode. I actually really liked that episode, and I thought everyone that watched it and actually commented on it seemed to like it too. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, might have been just a slight error, and I need to just upload it. But I think that's been like 3 years now since I uploaded that. But I might have put it in a compilation too. But there's a few other Oddfellows cemeteries that I'd like to get to. There's a few. There's some indoor ones that I want to do. I know a few indoor underground cemeteries. Um, it's another one that I would have to schedule a time to visit and make sure it was okay to film. But there's some really interesting ones. And I think I might know the location of an old catacomb, an old kind of Catholic catacomb that goes underneath a church not too far away from where I live. Well, another one in Fort Wayne. Um, um, but that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give it away before I do it. So I just have to figure out if I would ever get permission. But I know from sources, because I know from sources that actually went to church at this place, and they were able to confirm that there was a sub basement below the basement and it was a gigantic old Catholic church that was turned into some other type of church, and there was a giant gymnasium with a full basketball court and a theater down, like a stage theater, not like a movie theater. Uh, but it had a stage, and behind the stage was a staircase, and the staircase went down again, and it snakes around these little tunnels, and then one of the tunnels actually comes up, and there's a hidden door in this room behind the main auditorium, the main sanctuary. That most people don't even know about. It's hidden behind a refrigerator, and it so this catacombs or whatever it is goes down below the basement level, underneath to some tunnels, and then eventually comes back up all the way to the main level, passing the basement. So it's kind of interesting. And so I'm not sure if there's any graves down there. I've heard a couple conflicting stories from people who have claimed to found other passageways, claimed to have seen graves. claim to have found possibly even an old place where they prepared bodies and all kinds of things. So I'm going to try and get permission to go down there. Don't know if I'll be able to. If I still know anybody in connection, I think there's a good chance. Again, I don't even know if most of the people working there, it's a very select few amount of people I think that even know about these places. So, yeah, but it's an old, the building is several hundred years old, supposedly has all kinds of secret passages and things going around different areas. There's definitely some areas that you can see where there's at least voids where it's almost like there's certain areas where it's like there's like these 10-foot voids like just below like these rooms where it looks like it's just almost like ventilation. From when I've actually been in the building years ago, I've been there for a wedding and then a few times in the past for different events and things like that. So it's a very strange place and lots of hidden areas. There's bell towers that I don't think you can get to anymore, and apparently there's tunnels running under the streets and everything. So. Yeah, I'm hoping to find something. Miss Marple, welcome from Germany. Good to have you. Always good to have the European audience. It's probably more your time of day over there. We're doing the late night crowd over here for the U.S. audience. Yeah, I don't know if I can edit anymore right now. I need to get something to drink. Not that kind of drink, but just... Oh. Yeah, I kind of just came on for the tail end of the editing part for all of you. I've been doing this for hours and hours. When you're editing out a crease of a letter at 3 pixels per click and thousands and thousands of pixels, it may take a while to do. So I didn't want to sit and figure out a way to live stream and do the whole thing, so I just decided to bring y'all on for the tail end. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to end live stream at the moment. Like I said, we are going to be doing the Twitch streaming here pretty soon, so I'll let you all know on that. Not really planning to do it tonight that I know of. I don't think that I'm going to end up hopping on anything, but so yeah, if you've never checked out Twitch before, again, works the same as YouTube. Pretty much more live streaming like this than it is traditional, video format like most of the 539 videos, but no harder used than YouTube, and we'll be doing a few podcasts over there. I'm also going to be doing hopefully a weekly or at least monthly podcast over on the Patreon as well. I've been trying to get that running here for a while as Patreon continues to change and update itself, and I figure out what I can actually do. So it looks like I'm going to probably try and do like an audio podcast over there, like an hour-long audio podcast. And so I've been getting that set up. It's been way too long getting started, but trying to get... Twitch is both an app and a website. You can either go to twitch.tv. It's my site should be twitch.tv/539productions. It works for me. Some people say that they have a problem, but I think in the past I might have been sending people to twitch.com/539productions. But yeah, you can do it either way, just like YouTube. Yeah, so I'll be doing live streams over here still. We'll still be doing stuff like this, doing hangout streams, and probably a lot more of them as the new year comes here. Like I said, as we get things more on autopilot on 539 and I start more of the other ventures and whatnot. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I use Twitch on my phone all the time. It's actually more geared towards phones and small devices. So if that's your preference, then it's actually probably the media app for you. It's definitely geared towards that though. So yeah, you can find it either on Android or Apple App Store. And yeah, like I said, really easy to use, easy to search, and it costs absolutely nothing to watch, costs nothing to follow, and yeah, I'm not monetized yet over there anyway, so yeah. Um, so yeah, it's completely free, like I said, and we'll be doing some just chats and some call-in live streams discussing different types of alternative, slightly mainstream and underground culture, and maybe bring on a few guests to talk about stuff like that. And I don't know, we might bring on a few tattoo artists, maybe a few musicians, some people from different underground groups, skaters. Who knows? You never can tell what might be interesting to talk about, and there's all kinds of how do I put it? There's all kinds of little subgroups too to things that are just a lot of fun to talk about. So, but I don't have anything concrete scheduled. I've talked to a few people here and there about different things, but haven't had anything set in stone on scheduling yet. But like I said, for the first few streams or podcasts, or whatever you want to call it, I'll probably end up doing just my own sort of story, my own foray, and well, foray is the wrong word. My own life, kind of wandering through alternative culture in different forms, and whether it's tattoos or punk rock or even the car club in a way was a form of underground culture. So I'll probably go into a lot of that, the stories behind that, different things, tattoos, and all that. I've done some of that on the streams here before, but I figure I'll go into that again over on Twitch and kind of talk about everything again. So if you're wanting to hear all the tattoo stories again, some of the band stories, the few that there are from the days that I was in a punk rock band, and also some of my stories from being in a car club, and yeah, some of the areas maybe even where those different worlds intersected. There was a lot of different intertwining threads of the story that have been going on in my life in those different areas over the last few decades, I guess. So it should be an interesting discussion to talk about, and hoping to set up some way to have call-ins both for traditional phones as well as just like the Discord server where people can come in digitally and just hang out and chat, and also not just with me, but also chat with each other, as well as I can pull people in for like interview type things. So if people want to do call-ins like that, they can do that. Or I'm hoping, like I said, to get a traditional phone number so people can call in. That's going to be a little bit harder just because I need to be able to screen things a little bit. As you can probably imagine, having call-ins can be really awesome or can be really dangerous. So I do have a Discord. Trying to think the last video. I did have an open, non-expiring link, an invitation link in some of the 539 videos. I can't remember which ones they were. The next time I do a live stream, a regular live stream where I do it from the computer instead of my phone here, I'll put it up as a link. I might be able to do one because I should be able from my other account. I should be able to chat with you all from my 539 account and send you all a link. I'll see if I can do that here in a second. I'll log into my Discord server and then send a link over chat to everybody from 539. And that will give you guys a link to the Discord, which is another app. And like I said, it's a pretty much just a chat app of sorts that allows you to chat in groups that you're invited to, such as the 539 group. So it'd be all people that were invited from that link to that specific group. And so it's not like you're going to get a lot of people coming in randomly. I get notifications on it. It doesn't get a lot of traffic at the moment. I do have different chat rooms in there. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You can tell I need to get some water here. But I do have different things up on there at the moment, but it does need some help getting started. It's not something that necessarily needs to be a live chat. It is sort of like a message board in a way where you can sort of leave something and then people can respond later. It's just supposed to be a generalized discussion chat, whether it's just, you know, asking about something you saw in an episode and seeing what other people see what I, respond and say, or discussion around, anything, not necessarily 539 related or episode related, but it could be anything adjacent to that and just community related, just building community, having fun with each other, talking to each other, updating each other. It's just a place where anybody that is part of the 539 extended family that can kind of get together in that space and share with each other. And so it's sort of a collaborative space in a way, but something that I do have overall control of, where I can, like I said, oh, there goes our lights, hold on. But I can pull anybody into the live area, the live audio area, which is not something that you'll be a part of when you first log in. So don't think that your voice is instantly on live. It's not how it works. So yeah, anybody that wants to use it, it's like when you come on, the first thing you encounter is the chat area, and then you would have to get a request from me to join the live audio. So there's no like accidentally being on a live stream, so don't worry about, clicking on it and suddenly your voice is there. It's just, I would have to click on you, so don't worry about any of that for anybody that's interested. Like I said, I'll put it up here in a little bit. And yeah, it's just, like I said, just sort of a community thing for anybody that wants to have any discussions. Like I said, either live or not live. Like I said, when I say that, I mean chat, meaning you will see the moment someone else chats. You will see the moment someone else posts an image or a file, a video or whatever it is. But at the same time, it's going to stay up there. It's not going to disappear like YouTube chat. It's not going to be something that you can't look up later. And so yeah, it's sort of like a message board in that way that, you can sort of like when I talk about different things where there's a strange sound in the background, it's an area where you could have discussions like that, like, to sort of discuss what everybody thinks something might be, or but yeah, a best way to figure it all out is just to check it out. But again, another cool one that's free. So I think that one requires an app download. I don't know if you can just go to Discord. You probably can go to discord.com. I'm not really sure. I always use the app. I was gonna do something there. Oh yeah, there. I'm sure that coffee is not the best for the thirst quenching, but it might be good to stay up for a little bit. Although I kind of need to film today, so I probably should actually get some sleep here and actually go film. I'm not really sure what I'm going to film. I have a few different options. I also have a ton of places that I need to return to. I think I finally counted. It's like, I think there's like 6 different places that we left off and I haven't returned to. There's Lindenwood, there's Bowers Cemetery, there's Zanesville Cemetery, there's the Circle Cemetery, there's what was the other one that I just 16 Cemetery. Um, am I missing any? There's 5. Um, I feel like I'm missing one. Yes, Hatfield Cemetery. There's 6. Um, I think that's it. No, that's not it. The Oddfellows Cemetery, 7. So there's 7 different locations that I need to return to. And maybe some more. I'm not really sure. So yeah, I have just a ton of work to do. And then on top of that, I have at least 6 locations marked that I really want to go to and film. Yeah, I've learned a lot about the Oddfellows over the years. More interesting kind of trivia, I guess, than like a deep dive into their history. I have done a little bit of a deep dive into it. Obviously, it's it's sort of a fraternal order, mostly about like charity and whatnot. But they have some kind of quirks and whatnot. I know a lot of Oddfellows. I don't know if they're called lodges or what they're called, but a lot of the meeting places actually have burials inside of them as well. Whether it's the founder of that particular chapter or who is buried there, I'm not exactly sure how it goes every time, but sometimes the founding members can be buried there. And so a lot of times when eventually the buildings get torn down or sold, they find human remains in the building. So it's kind of a interesting side topic on the Oddfellows, but I've never really gone inside one of the places. Yeah, and I figure a lot of it doesn't go any deeper than people just wanting to be interesting and cool. It's the same thing, I think, with the Masons. I don't put too much conspiracy into it other than what every college fraternity is, which is just slightly bending the rules with the law in regards to preferential treatment of members when it comes to employment. And that's what really every fraternal order's secret conspiracy is that they all promise to give each other jobs before anyone else, which is technically illegal, but not really that big of a conspiracy. So that's the secret. Skull and Bones, Masons, all these places. That's it. It's preferential treatment in the business world. But yeah, they have strange rituals and things to make it all interesting and fun and promote a sense of family and togetherness and loyalty and different things like that. And sometimes it works out really well, and sometimes it works out terribly, and sometimes that's unfair to other people. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I guess it's both good and bad. But yeah, I've known people in fraternities before, and yeah, from the gist of it, it's just pretty much if you go into a big corporation and you find out that they were in your fraternity and you flash your little credentials or whatever, you're probably going to get the job when somebody else might be turned down. So yeah, yeah, I'm remembering back now how strange some of the older, longer live streams went in terms of the topics that we just kind of went to. Oh yeah, I forgot about Lions Club. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but yeah, it seems like an interesting thing to do. I mean, obviously, I've been in a club in the past, and there is a sense of community around it, and it's a cool thing to do. A service organization, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, so anytime you can get involved in something with a good mission that gives you purpose and togetherness and whatnot, I think it's a good thing to do. Uh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of need right in our own communities. You know, a lot of times people think they have to search really far or in some other country, and there's a lot of need right, near your own home that you can help out with, especially, community building. You know, uh, anytime we can pull the local communities closer together where they care for each other, I think it's a good thing for sure. Um, a city is kind of just a city, until the people have a sense of community and care for one another. You know, uh, places can become very cold, even though there's a lot of people around. So, yeah, it's good to be a part of something that tries to reverse that, especially in America. I feel like, why is that? I set that up so it was longer, and it did it earlier, and now it's stopped. It's like the screensaver time changed on me for some reason. That is irritating. Okay, I gotta change that back. But yeah. So, trying to keep talking as I do this without boring the hell out of all of you. But oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that to me. It was. Anyway, there we go. But 1 hour. Good enough. Yeah, I think we have a local. I'm sure there's a lot of them, but I know there's a local Lions Club around here too. I've heard about it a few different times. I don't even remember why. Hey there, Tony. Welcome. Cryptor in the room tonight or in the house. I don't even know what you want to say. Welcome to Tony. I'm sure y'all know Tony's channel. But yeah, some interesting episodes over there, man. Enjoying the content. Some cool Hawaii content too. So make sure you check out some of that stuff. Get up to date with his stuff. Tony in the coffin. That sounds a little morbid. Now that would make a very interesting podcast. Just every guest was in a coffin with like a GoPro and a microphone, and he just see where the conversation takes you. That would definitely, people would watch that too. Tony who? Cryptor is Tony. I feel like that'd be like one of those weird reality shows where it either would be a really awesome conversation or somebody would just go hysterical. Yeah, I don't think I could really handle being in something so claustrophobic. I had one experience once where I was in a haunted house and they did the coffin thing, and it was like a weird one. It was kind of cool actually because you didn't have to be in there for very long because they put you in the coffin and they close the door down, but then the bottom of the coffin drops out and it's a slide and it takes you down to the story below. So it wasn't too bad, but like for a few seconds it's like because they wait, of course, to make you feel like, how long am I going to be in here? And I don't have serious claustrophobia when it comes to most things, but like stuff like that, being in like a sealed box bothers me. Like I can cave and do all kinds of stuff. I've been in caves where I could, I had to crawl on my stomach for like a quarter of a mile, and that doesn't bother me. But being locked in a box is bad. And but it was a cool setup, I will say that. But yeah, um, yeah, and I'm not a big haunted house type. I'm not scared by the stuff. I don't like jump scares, uh, and I don't like being called scared because of that. I feel like there's a difference of being like screamed in the face, startled, and being like legit scared of like a zombie looking or scary looking character. It's like I'm not afraid of these people because the reality of the situation is too real in my head. I know that there's not a zombie in front of me and it doesn't really translate really well for me. I'm not saying I'm superior to anybody in any way in saying that. It just doesn't work for me. But I just don't like someone screaming in my face from nowhere. And it's like, to me, I'm not a coward. It's like, who doesn't get scared if someone suddenly screams at you? That's just insane. It's jump scares. To me, it's not the same as seeing like a really good scary movie and getting that fear, in your heart. It's like, somebody could do that anywhere, in the street, just hide behind a car and jump out and scream at somebody. It's the same thing. And then one of the last times I was at a haunted house, they literally electrocuted me on purpose, and I didn't even know that was legal. But they just made us all hold hands, and then and we kind of knew it was coming, but it was kind of like a little bit too much because it's like 8 people hold hands, and then it really hurts when they hit the switch, and it's like, okay, it's like I don't want to be electrocuted. I don't want to be, have some person just scream at me because that's all they're legally allowed to do anyway. And I don't know, just not my thing. But yeah, they don't bother me. I can do it. I just kind of bear down and walk through, and it's not. I don't care. It's like I said, it's not scary. It's fun, and they're creative, and it's artistic, and I don't want to detract from it. But like, yeah, I would almost rather something be sort of creepy and weird before, like I like the really artistic ones where they have the super realistic looking, like, just really eerie, creepy looking scenes, that someone spent a lot of time on, rather than just a bunch of people hiding behind things. I definitely get into it for that. I think that's really cool. Um, but yeah, the jump scares themselves, I'm just not into. But yeah, I can definitely go through some. Oh yeah, I've seen some videos of that. I've never ever actually I've never been to Universal. So yeah, I've never had a chance to do anything like that. I've done. I'm trying to think what I've even done. I don't even think I've ever done any of the corn mazes or anything, and I live in the Midwest. But yeah, there is a zombie run around here. I know. I've never done that. Um, that might be kind of interesting. I guess it's one big jump scare, but it's like kind of cooler just because it's like supposed to be like a simulated zombie outbreak or whatever. But um, I feel like they need like it's like everybody dresses up as the zombies. Why don't they have dedicated victims? Do they do that? Like because that would be so much more intense. You know, if there were people that worked for them that were allowed to get tackled, so that like it felt more, and you wouldn't know who they were. They would look like regular attendees, but the zombies would be able to take them out like full force, almost like not full force, so it hurt them, but you know what I mean. Like that would be that would be awesome. And now somebody will do it because every time that I have a good idea, like 2 years later, yeah, zombies are an interesting one. And it's interesting because there's like a lot of real science behind them. You know, sort of like zombies are kind of real. It's just people that have like rabies. Like rabies is just like the rage virus, isn't that? But like there's a lot of real science behind it. There's a lot of interesting viruses. A lot of interesting. There's like a zombie wasp, I think it is, that can literally do mind control with insects. Vampires have some interesting uh, history behind them as well. Uh, whether it's your kind of, I'm trying to think, there's your like Transylvanian style, historical, like Vlad the Impaler style vampire tales. And then just trying to think if the Caribbean stuff is more, that's more like a zombie type thing. Um, what in the world am I doing? Oh. Yeah, I like the 28 days later and 28. I think it was 28 days, 28 weeks, and was it 28 months or something? Did they was it three of them or was it did they stop at weeks? But yeah, those were insane. I liked the intensity of those. I'm not the biggest fan of like the slow moving horde zombies. I think the sort of the fast moving. There's no chance to run. They're already like I used to play. I'm not really huge into gaming, but I used to play the Left 4 Dead series, which is pretty much fast zombies, and it absolutely terrifying game, but one of the coolest games ever. And yeah, I'm really into those type. Yeah. New and that's interesting. That both excites me and makes me fearful because every time nowadays that I see something that is like a remake, uh, it ends up just being terrible. Like I don't know. Wasn't a big fan of the new Matrix, which I felt like was pretty much a joke, which they admitted to in the dialogue. Because in the dialogue, when they're talking about sorry about the spoiler if you haven't seen it, but like there literally is dialogue when they're talking about the game, which is technically referencing the original movie, and they're saying that, you know, everybody just wants a sequel, so why don't we just give you a sequel, which is pretty much what they're doing with the entire movie. So they are admitting in the movie that they're only making the movie because the fans wanted the movie and they don't really want to make it. Which is it's literally a line in the movie. You know, you all wanted this, so we're giving it to you. It's literally they just admit it right in the movie, just in the form of the game, which is their way of referencing the original movie. So every time you hear something about the game, The Matrix, they're just literally talking about, it's just literally the creators having a discussion with the audience about the original movie, pretty much. That's the way I understood it anyway. It was just the creators saying that we're making this movie because you wanted us to make one more. Oh god, I bought it and I wanted a refund so bad. It is so, it had a chance to be good. But they just, I just think they just went out of their way to make fun of so much. Uh, it just was like, it was just a movie poking fun at Matrix fans, is what I felt like. That had some interesting scenes, some um, good film work, some good acting. You know, I don't want to detract from the talented people that were in the movie, you know. Um, but I just felt like overall, like the writing, the overall arching like plot of the movie, the execution of it was just really poor. Um, I'm trying to think of another one that I've watched recently. Um, I don't know. Pretty much every Alien after Alien stopped being just Alien and merged with the Predator universe, which may have been the same creator or whatever. I don't remember, but who cares? It doesn't work very well for. I don't know if originally it was supposed to be intended to be together, but like I felt like or Aliens, and then Alien 3, I think is the sequence. I think were like amazing movies. And then everything after that was CGI trash. Because once Aliens started being CGI and not those amazing artwork of bodysuits and puppets that are in the original that look just horrifying and real, is just absolute trash. Like I hate the CG. The moment I saw a CGI alien, I don't even think I watched the rest of the movie. I think the first time I saw a CGI alien, I just turned the movie off because I was just like, nope, done. Like it just doesn't. It looks like a cartoon. It's Jar Jar Binks. Meets aliens, and I'm not here for it. But I love the originals. Yeah. Same with Star Wars. Uh, Everything since Episode 1 is I just don't care for. Yeah, I love the original Aliens. Sci-fi was legit better, I think, because they actually did really cool stuff, like amazing, intricate, a lot of times it's like they didn't use CGI and they didn't have CGI a lot of times, so they would use like these amazing miniature artists and these amazing puppeteers and these amazing like makeup artists, and it just looked, just incredibly real. And then we hit the 90s and they got obsessed with CGI and it looked incredibly just fake, especially when they switched to 4K. Like originally, like when I watched like Lord of the Rings, I was a big fan. Just because not because I thought it was the greatest adaptation, but I thought it was just cool to finally see it. And then I saw it in 4K for the first time, and I completely changed my mind. I was like, this is the fakest looking trash in the world. And it looked okay in 1080p. But it's not the biggest fan, but it was Lord of the Rings is pretty cool. Yeah, Friday the 13th. I never was a big. I shouldn't say I was a fan of them, but like, yeah, another one. Yeah, and what was it? The other one, the Halloween ones too. Um, Not that it's bad. It's just why does there need to be so many? Like, I feel like there's two things about Hollywood. Is they don't know when to end a series, whether it's a movie series or a television series, and they don't know how to end a movie. Like, most movies that I end up liking have complete and utter trash endings. Like, almost every movie that I've liked so far that's been made in the last 2 years is a decent movie that is a trash ending. They do not know how to. It's like the movie literally will have the right ending like 15 minutes prior to the actual ending. It's like you could have just ended it here and it would have been a great movie. Like, but no one knows how to end movies. I think that's the one thing. Oh yeah, I don't watch any of them now that Disney owns them. Star Wars, once they sold to Disney, it was just all fake anyway. Because you want to know the real crazy part, there was a Mark Hamill interview where he kind of hinted about it, about how he hated the story arc because it was fake. Because like in the '90s, George Lucas essentially gave permission to a few key authors to carry on what was canon or the official storyline of Star Wars. And so they wrote a bunch of books, including up to the death of Chewbacca and like Han Solo and all of these characters, and George Lucas signed off on them as being the official canon story of Star Wars. And then when Star Wars got sold to Disney, Disney trashed all of that and rewrote the entire story. So like all of the stuff that you see on the Disney story is completely fake and not canon. It is not even in the Star Wars universe. Like Chewbacca, I think, did they finally kill Chewbacca in the Star Wars? Because he doesn't die that way. If they killed, I think they killed Chewbacca in the movies. But Chewbacca dies when a freaking moon falls down on a planet and the planet explodes, and that's how Chewbacca really dies. I don't know how he dies in the films, but that is not real. That is not real, and it is not canon. And Emperor Palpatine comes back again. So, and he does it in the movies, but in canon he does. And if you read like the Romance of Leia and like these books, you'll see like these really interesting story arcs that are really cool that are done by these amazing authors that were authorized to be the official history of Star Wars by George Lucas until he screwed him all over and sold the thing to Disney for a buttload of cash and pretty much told all the fans, like, who cares what you think? I shouldn't say pretty much. He almost exactly told the fans that. So, yeah. Used to be a big Star Wars fan. Not really anymore. I like the originals, and not because I felt like that was the only three that should exist, but I just because I didn't like the choices that he made um, going forward, and then selling them off. So that's my Star Wars rant. Um, what's one? I'm trying to think of a really good one that had a trash ending. That I've watched recently. Man, I can't remember. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of that. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, Tony. Yeah. Lucasfilm would probably be an interesting studio to work for, or unless it's the other one, whatever that's called. Was it Weta? Is that? No, that's not Lucas, is it? Is it Lucas? Lucas isn't DreamWorks too. No, I forget. Oh, that's cool. See, I think that here to sort of backtrack, but not at the same time. I don't hate CGI. I think that CGI looks awesome in certain circumstances. To augment a scene, for instance, like in Star Wars when they do the lightsabers, it works well because the mind doesn't need to compare it to something real at all. So your mind instantly says, "Yeah, that's real. It's a glowing, laser sword." Like holographic displays, I think look really awesome as in CGI because again, you know that there's nothing in your real life that looks like that, and for different reasons, also because it's a simpler sort of thing than like a really complex creature with like hair and muscles and movements and eye blinking and you know, a voice or whatever. You know, these like simple type CGI like things look really amazing, and like a lot of really cool not star sci-fi movies. So I just think sometimes it goes too far, and then sometimes CGI is amazing. But I think a lot of places just don't put it in the budget, because if you were to have something that looks really incredible, you'd have double the it's like it's the technology is there, but the budgets are almost never there, but they still do it even if there's not the budget. It's like, so it ends up being like something that looks like a video game instead of something that looks like real. But like, yet I've seen like 10-year-old CGI that I can nearly not tell the difference between the CGI and real life. But you know, the person that did that worked extra hard just to do that. And the budget, you know, if there even was a budget, you know, was, you know, huge. You know, even like some of the stuff from like the Animatrix from back in the day, some of the CGI Animatrix was pretty amazing, and it's decades old, and it's, in my opinion, it's weird how some of it uh, outclasses some of the modern stuff. But yeah, I just haven't seen anything anything that decent. Oh yeah, the only way that'd be good with the, yeah, if they did CGI, the only way that'd be good if they went ultra ridiculous and tried to do the sequel from the Jaws sequel from 2015 and Back to the Future, the really ridiculous uh, holographic shark that comes out at I forget if it's at the, I forget I think it's in the original. Yeah, it has to be in the original because yeah, he's in the future. Yeah, but the big shark that comes at Marty. I think that would be hilarious if they just did that. But yeah, that, I just don't think that the CGI on something like that goes well, because again, it's like, what do you do as an actor? You know, you're in a tank, probably a black tank or a tank that's painted green so they can do green screen, and it's like, okay, and go, act scared. You know, at least in the original they had the, you could look behind you and see this semi terrifying looking piece of animatronics and react to it, you know. And now you're reacting to a, okay, the character will be the red dot over here that you see off screen, scream and run away from that. A Sharknado, oh god. Yeah. Although the cocaine bear one looks to be kind of funny, and that one's actually based on a real story, I guess. So that should be interesting. Still trying to go back over the catalog of anything I've seen. But yeah, like everything's a remake. I don't know. What am I trying? Um. Oh, and I don't think this is a really new one, but The Signal. I thought The Signal was a really good movie with just the most ridiculously stupid ending that I could have ever imagined. Was set up to be a really like cool hackers movie that could have been semi, I think it was The Signal. Yeah, that could have had a semi extraterrestrial element to it, and then they gave the dude ET legs and had him shatter a giant like projector screen in the sky. It was because it was a floating city in space. like just one of the coolest, most psychological movies ever, and they just trash the end like it was like I don't even know. Yeah, apparently there's this there's this story of a bear that like somehow broke into some sort of something, and I don't know if I don't know the exact somehow the bear got a hold of. I can't just keep saying cocaine on my stream, or they're gonna do something. But the bear got a hold of the substance and took the substance, and this is a real story apparently, and then like went around acting crazy around the town. Oh yeah, I heard about that. I think they made a documentary about finding that shark too. Swear I've seen something about that. It was a really interesting story. It might have been. It was either a documentary or it was on somebody's YouTube channel. Didn't they find it in like a parking lot or something? I think it was like in a parking lot, like on either like on a pole or something, or I can't remember. But that would be, yeah, that would be an interesting one to visit. But there's one other movie I was thinking about. Oh, what was it? Oh, one that I haven't said. Uh, if you've never noticed this before, I might have said this on stream before, but um, so you know the movie Jurassic World. Jurassic World doesn't exist. Jurassic World is Jurassic Park. If you look at a scene for scene, every scene that occurs in Jurassic World is just a re-envisioning of the original scene in Jurassic Park. If you look at it, everything is it's not an update. It's literally the same scene. The Jeep scene is the glass bubble scene. There's the roaring scene at the end with the T-Rex. There's the hiding scene in the kitchen. Every scene is just a remake of the scene from Jurassic Park in the form of a new movie. It's literally just exactly the same movie with just a slight twist on every scene. Like it almost in the same order too, if you look it up. Like everything. How is it? No, it has not been 1 hour. I set that timer for 1 hour. Yeah, that was insane. That's such a crazy find, and the fact that like that stuff can like go missing like that. I don't know why I'm talking into this microphone that isn't on. But yeah, that memorabilia can so easily just disappear like that, and then be found so many years later. Oh yeah, go watch Jurassic World, and then watch Jurassic Park, the original, and you will understand exactly what I mean. It's literally the same movie. Like it's the same exact movie. It's like they fly in on helicopters. They get a big little sciency tour thing. They they have everything go wrong while they're on the ride. It's like it's literally the same movie down to like the kitchen scenes, like everything. It's every scene that is in Jurassic Park is in Jurassic World with different actors and just like up the ante just a little bit and give it a little bit of a twist. Like instead of getting crushed by a T-Rex in an automatic Jeep, they're crushed by a bigger T-Rex in a glass bubble, um, a not remotely controlled, but like an off-road glass bubble vehicle. It's just the same exact thing. It's the same movie. It literally just the same movie. Hey there, Francisca. welcome. So yeah, so there's Jurassic Park. Trying to think what other remakes have they made? Well, every movie pretty much, but um, I don't think I've seen the Dune remake yet. Um, what was the other one with Harrison Ford that I literally just bought? Um, why can't I? I'm drawing a blank on the. Oh, that's cool. I've heard you can take the helicopter tour still, and you can hop in a helicopter and take the same because the like most of the movie was filmed in Hawaii, and including the helicopter scene where they originally fly in through the through the to the waterfall or whatever, and you can still take that tour to that helipad, which is still there, and you can land on that helipad and get the same view as the original movie, which is really awesome. I'd love to do that someday. But yeah, yeah, really cool. That yeah, most of that was actually um, filmed in Hawaii and not the what was it, Isla de Muerte, the Isle of Death, the Island of Death. Uh, so yeah, the Island of Death is just Hawaii. That might have been the was Isla de Muerte from The Lost World, which is also another one that oddly, The Lost World is not the Michael Crichton book. Like I read The Lost World and that was an amazing, amazing book that um, I won't say I hated the Lost World movie, but they did trash the book. The book had the book was so much cooler. The book had dinosaurs in it that like were like chameleons and everything. They could like I don't think they had that. Did they have that in the? Because I think the raptors like had evolved in the books and had gotten like chameleon like abilities where they could like auto camouflage and like it was just insane. The book was so much cooler. It was like one of those ones where it was like, I can understand when you take a book and adapt it into a movie that you have to cut things down and change certain things so that it works on screen. But then sometimes they just screw that up royally and don't do it. And I felt like that was The Lost World. Even though The Lost World was okay, the book was just so much better. Oh yeah, we're getting slippery over here too. Um, Not quite as much. A little bit of snow on the ground, a little bit of ice, but other than that, just yeah, that's pretty much it. Mid 30s usually, but I think it's in the 20s right now. So probably like what -3, -4 Celsius if you're over in Europe. So we're getting cold, but not terrible. But then again, yeah, we can get worse. Oh, the new Jumanji. I don't know if I've seen that one. Wait, the new actual Jumanji, not the crazy. What was that one called? I don't think I've seen the new one yet. I liked the idea of the original one. I wish. Here's what I wish with a few things. I wish they would do not. I wish they would do an R-rated Jumanji. I think an R-rated Jumanji that actually went into the more in depth would be amazing. I think there's a few movies that are like sort of semi kids movies that would make amazing like R-rated like adult movies. Like Lord of the Rings is another one. I wish someday they would do like an unrated like NC-17 like bloody gory just like like horror movie Lord of the Rings, like Lord of the Rings from like an adult's perspective, from if this really happened in real life, this is the hell that this tiny little hobbit would have gone through, you know, not the semi-toned down PG-13 kids movie that Lord of the Rings ultimately kind of was. And I know it kind of was that way in the books too. I know that The Hobbit was considered to be a children's movie. The Lord of the Rings was supposed to be like more of like a teeny type. I don't know if originally maybe because it was written in the trenches of World War II during an actual war where J.R. Tolkien was actually fighting real Nazis and seeing a lot of real blood and gore and death around him. So maybe not originally, but it did turn into something sort of that. And I really think it'd be interesting to see the what can be done in that way. Cause I don't think number one that it's been done well. I don't think that a lot of R-rated fantasy movies, I think they still kind of go on a sort of a cliche, cheesy direction a lot of times, where they wouldn't necessarily have to. The gnome from hell. There we go. 30s in Cali. That's a scary one. I think didn't it just snow in Vegas not too long ago? Yeah, up there around the bay, it can get kind of chilly, especially during the winter months. It's not the warm. It's not the Southern California, Los Angeles area that's got that sunny, warm weather year round. You're about was it 5.5, 6 hours north about of that of that weather at least. I think LA is at least 6 hours, I would say. And Tony would know more than me. I'm trying to remember how long it took me to get to almost LA last time. I think it took me like 6 hours to get to where it said I was 2 hours away from LA, so maybe LA is longer. But Cali is big. If you're not from Cali, think of California as a small country. And that's how big California is. Like, if you're from England, like, California is probably about that big. I don't know what the landmass compares to, like the UK. But it is huge. Yeah, I highly recommend it. It was an amazing trip. The Bay Area was really cool. Um, and it was interesting coming into it from the east because I got to go through the mountains too instead of just like flying in there. So you also get to understand how frustratingly large it is because on the map you're like, oh yeah, it looks thin, but it's because it's also super long, so of course it looks thin. And you think, oh, okay, I'm gonna be able to get from Nevada to San Francisco in no time, and the answer is absolutely not. It takes forever. Oh yeah, I did. I talked to not one of my grandparents. I don't think I've had any grandparents fight in any. No, I did have a grandfather fight in World War II. I don't know where he fought. It wasn't at Normandy, but I have a cousin who had a grandfather that was at Normandy. I got to talk to him once. That was really kind of interesting. Well, I got to talk to him numerous times, but only once about that. But yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah, definitely a war on a different scale. Oh, it's all good. I try to explain as much as I can so that I'm not talking over people's head on certain things. I know that I'm a bit of a nerd in certain areas, so I kind of geek out and go in a deep dive. So if I'm ever running away and being uninteresting, let me know. Yeah, I think I told my friend at like midnight. I hit the California border at midnight, and which is like an international border, by the way. Especially if you're coming through, coming in on 80, which is where I did. Um, and I think I told him, okay, I'll be there by like 2 in the morning, maybe 1:30. And then, yeah, I think I made it. I don't know how fast I was going. I think I made it in pretty record time, but it was not. It was more like, I can't remember. It might have been 5:30 in the morning, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Oh yeah, yeah. We gotta go. Maybe we could go there the next time. I'd like to check that place out again. Uh, Especially now that I have better equipment. I think it'd be interesting to go back and do more of a deep dive there. I gotta make it out there. I really want to make it out in next year. I wanted to make it out this year, but it just wasn't in the cards. But yeah, there's a lot that I missed, and I didn't film quite as much as I wanted to. I had some other obligations while I was there last time that I needed to. Hadn't seen one of my friends in good good deal many years, and so I ended up spending a lot of time just hanging out and catching up. And so the next time I'm out, I'll probably do a bit more of a deep dive into the filming and whatnot. So, but yeah, I'd like to make it out there at a decent time. This thing keeps falling. Okay. But yeah, a decent time next year. I don't know when, but yeah, there's so many places I got to make it back out to, and a bunch of places I have marked still. There's some places I still have marked that are just I don't even know if anybody knows about them. Like I got to make it out to the East Coast sometime. I have a couple places I've never seen done before by anybody in the cemetery community on YouTube and social media, and it's maybe the most epic location ever out on the East Coast somewhere. And yeah, every time I try to get in touch with anybody to help me out, either they don't know or they're not close enough to find out. Or there was one person I was supposed to talk to, but I ended up somehow losing contact with them, and they didn't. I think it's in might be in the Philadelphia area. I think possibly. Yeah, we Steve and I really went to a lot of interesting places. And of course, it doesn't hurt that he knows a lot about the history and is great at narrating for you while you're getting good shots. So it was fun to have somebody local around that could point things out. Otherwise, I might have missed it. So yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, again, another area that I desperately want to get back to film, and also to investigate some weird stuff too. Uh, yeah, I want to get back to the bridge, just because of the interesting encounter I had there with the mystery person that seemed to both know English and not know English at the same time. Uh, I think I've told that story on stream before. But here's a spoiler. I'm gonna try, I think, and call in sometime to like what is it? Is it Art Bell in Las Vegas that does? I think it's Art Bell, or am I thinking of the wrong? Art Bell might be, but it does the coast to coast now, um, and talking about that because it was a very interesting, very weird uh, encounter that I had at the San Francisco or at the Golden Gate Bridge while I was climbing up from the beach, and I can't quite wrap my head around it or explain who it was or what it was that I talked to that day. I don't understand it. Oh, that sounds like fun, Tony. Yeah, LA would be as one that I regret not going to. I need to get back when I go back to Cali. I do want to go back to LA, or not back. I want to go to LA finally because I almost went there. I was on my way to Vegas, and I came to the part in the highway. I forget which highway connects LA to Vegas, and I saw it said LA like 2 hours, and like Vegas like 4 hours in the opposite direction. And I was like, I don't have to be to Vegas until tomorrow, and I could still go to LA today, and then just leave and head back later tonight to Vegas and stay the night. And I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I'll do it next time, and I just went to Vegas. And so, yeah, I always regretted that. I wanted to. I was so close. I was only 2 hours away from LA, but it was like, I was like, man, I'm gonna go 2 hours, and then I'm gonna have to fight LA traffic, and then I'm gonna have to go 6 hours in the other direction, at best. Yeah, Southern California looks cool, and I think some of the little deserty locations in Nevada would be a lot of fun too. Yeah, and the thing that I want to know is if anybody else has had any similar experiences, because it was literally like I don't even know how to explain it. Because I was coming up, I climbed up, and I went up from the beach, and it's not a trail, and you're not really probably encouraged to climb up the hill because it's really steep if you don't go the trail. Uh, and the tide was coming in, and I thought I had enough time to make it down because I didn't want to go all the way up because it was getting really steep and it was kind of scary. And so I turned around and I started heading back down to the creek bed that was dry and led back down to the beach. And this kind of baldish, grayish, white gentleman that was about maybe 5'10", maybe 6 foot, I don't know. Uh, Out of nowhere, he was in the creek bed, and it kind of startled me. And he just looks at me and he goes, "Hey, what are you up to?" Right? And I said, "I'm heading down to the beach. I'm going to walk back to the trail and head back up to the main walkway near there's like this old military base." And so, um, and he looked back at me and he goes, "Oh, there's no time for that." And I said, "Oh, is the tide coming in?" And he just looked at me like he had no idea what I was saying. And I said, "Okay, well, I'm a little lost and I'm not sure the right way up. I don't know if this creek bed goes all the way up to the top, but if you know a better way, I'll follow you if you'd be willing to show me the way." And again, he just looks at me like he doesn't even know the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I waited there for a second. He just stared at me, and I was like, "Okay, well, thanks for the information. I'm going to turn around. I'm gonna go and just try to find my way this way." And I turned around and I started walking back the way I came towards the steeper hill, which I ended up getting all the way up and doing it just fine. But initially, I started turning. walked probably about 20, 30 feet, and I turned around and he was literally gone. But it was just so strange because he addressed me at first as if he understood me perfectly. I said, I'm going down to the beach to go back to the trail. And he said, "Oh, no, there's no time for that." But everything else was like he did not know at all what I was saying. He looked with the most confused, bewildered look at me as if I had spoken a complete foreign language. When every time I addressed him, whether, like I said, it was can I follow you up? Or, and I said, "Oh, yeah, is the tide coming in? Is that too?" I even addressed that because I don't know if I said that earlier because I was like, I looked at him, I was like, "Oh, so the tide's coming in," and he just looked at me like, "What does that mean?" Like, so it wasn't that he didn't know English. He clearly knew what I had said to him and knew how to answer, but it was like that was it. It was one programmed response. No, you can't go that way. It's too late. Uh, but that was the only response that he knew. But it wasn't that he was like struggling to know English. He made no signal that said, "I don't understand you." He looked at me like he didn't even understand what I was trying to communicate. It wasn't a language barrier like I don't get it. I don't understand the words. It was just like I don't know what you're doing right now. Are you talking to me? Are you asking me something? It was just like, so it's on the south side of the bridge on the ocean side. You'll probably know it because if you've been there, uh, the beach is like when you get down to the bottom is a clothing optional beach. So you notice him. You'll probably notice it has, and then along the top trail along the top of like the hills is the old military installments where there used to be maybe like a gun battery or something like that, and they're all sealed off. But you walk past them up this little hill, and then you can wind your way down to the beach, and then head towards where the bridge crosses the bay, and I got to almost the very end where the beach sort of starts to curve around into the bay, and that's where I climbed up the very steep hills directly behind that, and there's a little creek bed. If you go and even on Google Maps, you can even see the creek bed. And I don't know how much battery I have left. And my phone won't tell me either. And yeah, and I just explaining it. I don't even think I can just even explain the weirdness, just because of, like I said, like it was a difference between because when I was in Vegas, I had another not weird encounter. It was a funny encounter because being an American, and the demographics here are highly white European, and so maybe in a sort of weird, sort of reversed racist sort of way, I ran into a white lady in the elevator of my Las Vegas hotel, and I said, "Hey, can you hit floor 8 for me? I'm on 8." And she looked at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then her son politely looks at me and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And he hits 8, and I realize she's European and she doesn't know English at all. And I just looked at her, assuming, she's a white lady in a hotel. Clearly, she must be from America because there's a lot of white people here. And I just assumed, and she knew not even a lick of English. But she looked at me with that face of, "Oh, I don't speak your language." The clear, defined, oh no, I'm so sorry. I don't know what you're saying to me. And it wasn't that with this person. It was like just literally like it was like if you would have sent a perfectly lifelike robot with only one programmed response, which is, "Oh no, I'm sorry, it's too late for that." That is what that felt like. It was like the rest of the inputs that it's like talking to Siri and have Siri going, "I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. I can't find anything." It's sort of like you could see it calculating in the brain and then saying, I have no responses for that input. That was the level of confusion. It was not a lack of linguistic skills. It was like as if I was talking to something that was giving recorded responses and it did not have a response to that question. That was what it was like. It was not like talking to a human being. It was like talking to something that only had one English response for one specific phrase. And it was waiting for that phrase, which is, "I'm heading down to the beach to make it back to the trail." And its response was, you don't have enough time for that. And everything else had no response. He never said goodbye. He only said, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here?" "I'm heading down to the beach." "You don't have time for that." Every other response was, "does not compute." No physical response, just dead-eyed, deadpan nothingness. Just not trying to be rude, not trying to be evasive, not trying to tell me, "No, I don't want you to follow me and I don't want to help you." Nothing. Just deadpan, no response, does not compute. Like, like, yeah, just the most, never in my life. And I've run into weird, strange, you know, I've run into people who might have been high or whatever, and not that I'm judging anybody, I don't really care, but like, you every once in a while run into somebody, and maybe they've been in the woods, like, smoking something or doing something. They're a little bit, up there, out there, or maybe they don't respond quite the way that you thought they did, but it comes across as the regular sort of weird. And this didn't. There was no drugs. It wasn't drugs. It wasn't. It wasn't a mental condition. It wasn't somebody that didn't know English. It was like. It was like, and I know this is a weird conspiracy theory in of itself, and I'm not saying that, but if you've ever heard the NPC theory, where NPCs are in a video game, they're called non-player characters, which are the characters that can interact with you in a video game and have certain programmed responses, but they're not played by humans, they're controlled by the programming of the game. If you're into like MMOs, they're the people that might give you quests, and you go up and you have like a certain set of questions that you can ask, and you get responses based on the questions that you asked. And there's this conspiracy theory that if the world is a simulation, if everything that we experience, like the Matrix, is a simulation, then there could be non-player characters, which just like agents in the game, are artificial intelligences in the form of what looks like a human being, but are in fact part of the program, and only giving programmed responses. And that's what it felt like. It felt like I was talking to something that was giving programmed responses that didn't have a response for the question I was asking. Yeah, that'd be an interesting one, Tony. I would love to do that. I'm going to be starting some new stuff here soon. So I apologize in advance. I don't know when the phone's going to go blank and make, and stream a black screen for like an hour. So I'm just sort of streaming until it dies. I might take a quick break here in a minute and hope that I have enough battery to last. I do have a charger here. Oh, no, wrong charger. Oh, I got a confirmation, huh? I have 20% remaining on my battery. So yeah, that's my weird story from San Francisco, and I don't know if anybody else has ever encountered this weird person, I guess. I don't know if there's any rumors surrounding it. Maybe a time travel. That would be interesting. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I know the science around time travel is not necessarily in concrete, and the idea of whether backwards or forwards time travel or whether time exists at all is sort of up in the balance right now. So maybe, I don't know, but I can't get it out of my head because it wasn't normal, and I can't be convinced because again, like the response itself was so clear-headed, you know. It was so just immediate, and I know exactly what you're saying, and then everything else like that afterwards. But again, it wasn't. There was no. It was like there was just. It just like they just paused. It was just like, okay, I've arrived at the point where I'm supposed to stop and interact, and I'm going to wait for them to say the correct phrases so that I can respond to that. And if they don't say the correct phrases, I will just respond in silence. I don't know. So, yeah, I guess to anybody out there maybe watching this in the future, if you've ever encountered this on the hills of San Francisco right on the beach, then let me know. It was like, again, I said, a man who appeared to be not particular any, indescript age, had grayish hair, white skin, slightly balding in the center. Seemed fairly normal in almost every way. I don't know because I don't know. Like I said, I don't really try to go into conspiracy theories or, there's certain scientific theories I believe in, and like even like time travel. Maybe it is true. Maybe it isn't true. Maybe it could be true. I don't know, but I just don't know what it was, and I've never had any experience strike me like that. It was akin to a paranormal experience. But it wasn't a ghost. It was definitely a person that was there in the moment, but it was just nothing that I've never experienced. And and it wasn't antisocial. It wasn't like someone that just didn't want to talk to me. They didn't, it was just it was just the entire thing. It's just I can't get over. I've never been able to wrap my head fully around it because it was the only time in my life that I've ever physically had a conversation with something that I argued later in my head with. Was like, this just didn't seem human. Something was wrong, but not in a human way. Like I was saying, just it, no, because I wouldn't put it in like, when you hear like people have like some sort of paranormal experience, like an angelic encounter, they have the ability to have some sort of discourse, some sort of conversation. Like I said, it was like, in another way to put it, almost akin to talking to an automated response system that you call into. It's like, hi, how can I help you today? You can tell me a list of simple things that you need, like check your account balance, and I can check it right here today. And then you say the wrong thing, and he goes, I'm sorry, I don't have a response for that. Maybe try check your account balance or contact an operator. And that's what it sounded like talking to this person. It was like it was an automatic response system. It was as if it was the most realistic android, the most realistic robot you've ever seen that had programmed responses like an AI. It was like talking to AI. It was not as if the person was mentally challenged in any way. It was like a perfect English response, but that was the only response that existed. And then when I turned my back and looked back, whatever it was completely not there anymore, just gone. And maybe it was that they just walked away, but I couldn't see which direction they walked. I could see kind of clearly down the path when I was walking away, because I was going up in elevation, up the hill, and I assumed that they were going down because I could see both up the stream bed, and partially down, and I could not see where the person had went. But again, like I said, like, having I've worked in retail, either in the grocery business or in retail sales, retail computer repair, for the better part of 10 to 12 years of my life. And after that, I worked as a traveling IT repair person, working at different businesses every single day as an operator, as a repair technician for Dell and other companies. And so in my life, I've encountered just so many people with so many different personalities, different medical conditions, different languages as their primary, or people that didn't speak English as their primary language. It was a secondary language. I've communicated with people that barely speak any English at all, trying to help them find things around a grocery store. And it's a very real part of your job when you work in that industry and the service industry, that you encounter people all the time that have problems communicating. And I can say with 100% certainty that this was nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was like talking to Siri in the form of a flesh and blood human being, standing in front of me, dressed in like just normal clothes, like he was out on a hike. But he had no programmed response for anything but that one thing that I asked, and the initial greeting, which is perfect English. Hey there, what you doing? Just happy as can be. And then dead-eyed, that's the thing. Hey there, what are you doing? Do you see how weird that is? That's what that was. There was emotion and then a complete lack of emotion, and then it just dead-eyed, no response. It was like you opened Siri and it was like, hey, what can I help you with today? And then it's like you gave the wrong response. That was the only, and again, like in my thousands of personal interactions with all kinds of different people from different, that was not, again, another hour. Okay, but with different walks of life, I've never talked to somebody with that level of, I don't know. And so I don't know where I'd classify it. I've tried classifying it different places. You could go to the normal, not normal, but maybe the not conspiracy, maybe even, because I don't know how much of it I believe is conspiracy either. Scientifically, I believe in the existence of extraterrestrial life. Scientifically, is it possible for time travel to exist? Possibly. But, scientifically, is it possible, if not likely, that the universe could be a simulation or something akin to it? And the answer is yes. But where it fits in, I don't know, and it could fit into multiple things, but and maybe it's not anything. Maybe it was just something really weird, or some person having a weird off day. But the the effect was so profound, and the just the level, even at that moment and then later on in my life, was so jarring that it just almost more weird than the experience itself was just how profound it was and how strange it was, that it just to this, I could not find words to explain the strangeness. Just like peering into another world. And that's all I can say because I cannot explain it. Does it fit into one of those categories? Maybe. Was it an extraterrestrial experience? Was it a time traveler that only knew certain pieces of old historic English? I don't know. Was it a completely normal experience? I don't know, but it just didn't feel like it. And I don't like ever classifying anything like that. Especially usually if something like normal, if I have a weird interaction with someone, I never go to that. It's always just like, that normal like, oh, that's I wonder what's wrong. Is something going on up here? Are they maybe on something that they've taken too much of? Do they need help? And I didn't get any of those triggers. I didn't feel like they needed help. I didn't feel like they were having any bad episode. I didn't feel like there was anything about the situation where I should be worried, whether I was in danger, whether this person was violent. I had no apprehension about talking to them. There was no fear whatsoever, but it did not feel human in any way. It felt like a non-human intelligence in the form of a human with only certain programmed responses that were pre-programmed in some way to respond to certain phrases. And that's the only way I could put it. It was something, and I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm saying that's what it felt like. It felt like something in the form of a human responding to key phrases that it was predetermined to respond to. Not predetermined as in like predetermined to respond to me, but just like, like I said, like an automated customer service phone call. It's like the same feeling, except for just the strangeness of it in the form of a person. If you walked into a store and found out that the person behind customer service wasn't real and was just an automated customer service robot, and you just had a conversation with them for an hour, that's what it would have felt like. If someone would have come up to you later and went, the whole time that they weren't human, right? Like, that's what it felt like. It just overwhelming. Like, you know. And like I used to do like ghost hunting back in the day. Nothing. And I've had some strange things happen ghost huntings and people claim to channel spirits and seeing strange lights or hearing strange sounds, recording weird EVPs, having EVPs happening right in front of me. I've had radios shut off in front of me and then play weird, scary noises at places that were supposedly haunted. And to this day, that does not affect me even a tenth as much as this interaction that I had at San Francisco. Like, undescribable. Undescribable. Yeah, like to the point where it's like I want to start a channel just to investigate this, and that's all. That's all. Like I just want if I could somehow start a channel and only investigate this, I would do it in a heartbeat if I thought it would work. But I just don't know because I have no leads to work on. Like what was it? It doesn't even fit into any other category. Like I said, it could, but it does it. I don't know. What do I do besides go to the bay and then start interviewing people? You know? But it's like, what kind of stupid question is that? You ever seen a bald white dude with gray hair on the sides that seems to not be human and ask you weird questions on the side of the San Francisco Bay? You know what I mean? And on the side of the Golden Gate Bridge. What do I ask that gets the right response? How many people have seen this person? You know? Right on, man. Appreciate you coming, Tony. You have a good one at work, dude. Maybe ask a few people if they saw the gray man. We gotta find. I need an answer to this. If this is a Bay Area legend and I contacted him, I want to know. I'm going to start talking to some Bay people here, because I got to get to the bottom of this one. But yeah, to everybody else, I'm probably going to call in to one of these shows just to see if anybody's, not because I'm expecting to find any answers, but I just want to see if anybody else has had this experience in this place. I just can't. I just can't figure out that I'm the only one. I don't know. I don't know. And like I said, it's not like I've ever, and I'm not some person that just goes around seeking out stuff like that. And I'm definitely skeptical enough that my first response to anything is trying to disprove it. And so far, I haven't been able to not only not disprove anything, but come up with any ideas on even what in the world happened. I will for sure, but I think, like I said, it's gonna take somebody coming out and saying that they've had a similar experience. I would love to. Actually, if you want to see the immediate aftermath, I did take a video. I did not take a video of the man because I was not able to get my phone and everything out in time, and I wasn't really expecting to do anything, right? I didn't. It didn't even occur at the time. It was like, well, this is happening. There's this guy here that's hiking up, and he randomly ran into me, and this is completely normal. And there's a lot of people on the beach, clearly just a hiker. And so I didn't even think to do anything until I turned around, and it was just like, where in the world did this guy go? And I was just like, at the time, it was like I didn't put much effort into finding it. So I'm not saying the guy didn't just quickly, but I can say that the dry creek bed was pretty difficult climb up. It wasn't like he just ran down and got away. It wasn't, and if he would have went down, he would have been directly going against the advice that he had just given me. So going that way would have been ridiculous. And he didn't go the other way because I could see that way. I was heading uphill and I could see the creek bed going off that direction. Because I had walked up. The other detail that I didn't tell was I had already walked up to the creek, and there was a waterfall at the top that was too steep to get up, and it's the level of the walls around you started to rise, and you would have had to climb vertically. And so I had backtracked part of the way already, and I had gotten out of the creek bed, and I had went onto the grass. If you want to follow along, you can look on Google Maps and see the area. If you go to the south side of the bay on the ocean side of the Golden Gate Bridge and zoom in, you can see the little creek bed that I'm talking about that I walked up. And then you can see to the south of that is the hills that I eventually climbed up to the little walkway that goes along the top of the hills. And so if you look it up on Google Maps in San Francisco, you can see it very easily what I'm talking about. And you can see the parking area next to the to the bridge where you park to get to the trails and everything. It's very easy to spot on Google Maps if you go. But at the end of one of the videos that I did with Big Steve, I included the short, about 30-second video clip that I took about 10 minutes after that I had just climbed up finally the really steep hill and was resting and took a short video of the sunset there, and that is immediately after I encountered the person. And so if you want to see the immediate aftermath, you can see that, but it doesn't reference anything. It's just me talking about the sunset and climbing the bridge, and you can see all around. You can see the area and how far up and how steep it is, because you can see the beach from where I am. Below my sorry, my 10% went off, so we're not gonna last much longer, and I don't have the ability to plug in right now, so this is gonna be probably last 15 minutes here, so brace for the black screen inevitably here. But so yeah, yeah, if you want to check that out, you can I believe you can just search it under both of our names. If you search under 539 Productions and Big Steve Entertainment, it should come up as like the second video, and at the end of it is that clip. Again, you can't see the person. You can see the sort of vaguely the direction I took up from the beach. And if you go to my Instagram accounts, you can see the photos that I took from the beach. So there is documented, not evidence, obviously. I'm not saying that any of you don't believe that I was here, but you can see the photos that I took that same day at the beach. I have several photos. One of them's pinned. It's the picture of the Golden Gate Bridge that's all in black and white, except for the bridge itself, which is in color. So, no, I've never posed the question to Steve. It sort of immediately struck me, and then, night, Shauna, have a good night. And then I guess I kind of buried it for a while. Not like it was like a traumatic experience or anything, but I guess I just didn't think of it for a really long time, and then I was thinking about it one night, and I was like, wow, that was a really significant experience. That was very bizarre. And there was something very different, and I knew it at the moment. I definitely knew it at the moment. I was very creeped out by it. I didn't, like I said, I didn't feel afraid, but it was just like, how is it that I can sit here? I remember having the thing. I was just like, I just looked at you and asked you a question. I didn't say like that because I didn't want to be rude. But I remember being really confused at the moment. I was like, you just answered the question I asked you before. You have to know what I'm saying to you. It's like, if you knew that much English, you should know what I'm saying now. If you say, it's too late to go down there, and I say, because the tide's coming in, and then you look at me like, what? What's a tide? Or, essentially almost like, just like I said, like a deadpan blank stare, like, no response recorded. It struck me as very bizarre. But, in my mind at the moment, it was just get to the top of the hill, go home to your friend's house tonight, and get some sleep. Or get some rest, relax. And that was all that was. It was just like, okay. And so I, tried to engage him a little bit more. Nothing happened. And I was just like, okay, well, you're going to sit here and stare at me like I'm the dumbest person alive and you have no response. So I was like, all right, man, well, you have a good one. And I got no response from, I told him I was leaving. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to head back up this way and try to find my way to the top. And I looked at him, and it was just same, did not move, did not change expressions, stared directly at me. I turn around, walk up to the hill, turn around one last time. Man is now gone, and I'm just like, there's nothing I can do. I'm going up the hill. And so I brace myself, get my equipment together, climb up the hill as far as I can to where I know I'm safe and I can get the rest of the way. And then I just laid down and rested because it was quite a physical experience too, and it's very steep. And then I took that video, and then that was the end of the night. I got back to my friend up at the who was waiting for me up at the trail because he had also found his way up the hill. And we had gotten separated right before that. And so we reconnected with my friend after he had called me. And that was it. And then, like a year or two later, it just all of a sudden hit me one night. It was just like, what happened there? Why did that happen, and what was wrong? Because there's no way to classify this. It's like, it's like you usually have this instinct, you know. You know when you see something and it's not right, and you usually can kind of tell, like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're not, you know, maybe they have some linguistics problems, some auditory issues, some linguistics issues, some, and and it's just like, this is a normal person, and they just have a little bit of an issue in communication, and I can communicate with them and it's fine. Or like I said, or oh, this person clearly doesn't speak English, I get it. And there was none of this. It was like, oh, no response recorded. The system doesn't have a response to those inputs. That's it. That was it. The system does not have a response to those inputs. That was the feeling of talking to this person. I've never had that happen before. And I swear it was not substances. It was not substances. The response, the original response, the greeting and the original response was completely normal, in perfect English, as if it was just it's like you went up and you saw your college professor. Oh, hey, what are you doing here? Oh, I was thinking about heading out that door. Oh no, it's too late for that. And then they just turned off, and it just ran out of batteries. Like, completely normal, and then not at all. Just completely normal, and then just not at all. And I'm not talking like, I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just saying I'm not talking like maybe they had like autism or anything. Nothing like that. I'm not talking about communications problems at all. Just shut down. Like the system crashed. Like you were talking to an AI bot and the system crashed. It just, whatever response you put in, it just doesn't respond. No response, no response, no response. That's it. Weirdest one I've ever had. It wasn't that different. It was just, it was that they were so normal in every other aspect. And from the moment I saw them, from the moment they greeted me, from the moment they told me, "Oh no, it's too late for that now." It was like talking to your friend that you'd known for years. Just a normal person, and then it just stopped there. It was just like I said, like the program ended. Something glitched out, and then exe crashed, and then the program refused to respond. And so, it's like when you're watching the like old Star Treks with the android Data or whatever, and the system crashes, and it's just a blank android staring at you with dead eyes. That's what this was like. It was like a android lost power and was staring at you with dead eyes. Like, there's not enough power in the system to compute the response necessary to the input given. So, anyway, I should probably say goodbye before my phone dies, because it's probably at like 3% battery. I appreciate you all for being here on this stream tonight. If you know anybody in California in the Bay Area, please ask them. And if you hear anything strange like this, let me know. Pass along the information. Maybe we'll make a video about it on a different channel. Maybe we'll make a documentary about this. A brand new conspiracy never seen before. Or maybe, if, like I said, it fits into one of those other lanes. I don't know. But I've never had an experience like it before, and it wasn't like talking to a human being. And it wasn't like talking to somebody who was challenged in any way. And I'm not trying to insult anybody. Like I said, if you're interested, look up NPC theory, the conspiracy theory. Yeah. Obviously, don't go around treating people like they're NPCs. It's probably not a real thing, but look up NPC theory and look up simulation theory, and you'll be very intrigued by some of the responses and how they find between, or what you find, and the connection to what I'm talking about. So, and it's very bizarre. There's some videos that people have done online. Some people have actually done some really weird research. Some of it's dumb. I'm gonna be upfront. Some of it is really dumb, but some of it does make you think. So look it up on YouTube. It's called NPC non-player character, and it's a reference to video games and the idea that the characters on screen aren't all played by people, right? You know, if you're playing Mario, the little mushrooms aren't somebody in Nintendo headquarters somewhere. They're just the computer. So what if somebody out there is just the computer? So, and that's the idea behind the NPC theory. So look that up. And it's like I said, it's directly related to like the Matrix films and the real science behind those films and what and because if you think that that's just a made up concept, that's actually a concept that's been thought about by philosophers for over 1,000 years. And that's 100% true, and you can look it up. The simulation theory is a very old theory, and it's not just a new theory. And it has very real mathematical implications, and maybe we'll talk about that sometime before, obviously, like the imminent death of my phone. But there's, let me say, mathematically, a greater probability of human beings living in a simulation than living in the real world. So, I'll leave you with that bit of math. There is a greater statistical probability that you live in a simulation of the real world than living in the real world. And that is technically a real fact, a real mathematical statistic. And I'll talk about why that's true on a later stream. And you can look it up and find it out. It's readily available on the internet if you want to look it up and indulge yourself in hours worth of fun content. But there's more chance that you're in a fake world than you're in a real world. And if you know the answer, let me know in the comments. And I'll see all of you in the next stream.